Hello there folks, my name is Spoonks and welcome back to another episode of Box Office Chat. This is the show where I break down the top 5 domestic box office results, see where each movie landed, and see how well each movie did. So let's get started. Number 5 was Black Panther Wakanda Forever, making $3.5 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $445 million and a worldwide total of $826 million. So now the film is now just less than $60 million away from surpassing the $500 million domestic mark. I gotta be honest, folks, I just don't see this movie crossing that milestone. It's, even though that it has already returned to the top 5 and is still doing very well, it is slowing down. It is definitely on the very last of its legs, and because of that, I just don't see it getting to that mark. Even with it going to be on Disney Plus, digital and Blu-ray DVD in February, which is definitely enough time for it to surpass the milestone. I don't see it happening. And this is not to disparage the film in any way. It obviously is a very successful movie. It's just that I'm pretty much running out of things to say for it. It's still in this range we've seen it in before, and it doesn't look like it's going to get out of it very time soon. So yes, movie's still successful. It did very well. It did so well that it came back into the top 5, but again, it's pretty much on its very last legs. It had a very successful run at the box office. We'll see how much longer this movie is in the top 5, but if this is the last time we see it in the top 5, just want to say good job, Black Panther. You were a very successful movie. Number 4 was A Man Called Otto, making $4.2 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $4.6 million and a worldwide total of $13 million. So this kind of came out of nowhere, especially to me. Now, if you're surprised that I said that this movie is making rather than opening earlier, then allow me to explain. The film has been released in limited release since, I believe, Christmas Day, and has been expanding in more and more theaters as we get closer to its wide release occurring on Friday. And I didn't think this movie was going to make enough to enter the top 5 this weekend, but clearly I was wrong. There was enough interest in this movie to get it into the top 5, which is very impressive. Now, obviously, these aren't the most groundbreaking numbers in the world, and especially given its $50 million budget, it is going to need all the help it can get in order to at least make that money back by the time it hits nationwide this Friday. But when you take into consideration that this was released in only just around 600 theaters, this is honestly quite impressive numbers, and it shows that some people are genuinely interested in seeing this movie. So it'll be interesting to see how much of a boost this movie takes this weekend. We'll see if this is a sign of good things to come, or if this was a fluke. I'm not expecting anything too major for this movie this weekend, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it surprise a lot of people. I don't think it's gonna be all that successful, especially with its huge budget. Seriously, what were they thinking? But yeah, this might show much more positive things to come. So yeah, we'll see how well it does later on down the road, but A Man Called Otto is off to a decent start, if you ask me. Number 3 was Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, making $13 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $88 million and a worldwide total of $198 million. So this movie continues to exceed all former expectations for it. It had one of the better holds this weekend, just dropping 19% from last weekend, which is incredible to believe, especially when you consider the fact that many kids are going back to school since winter break for a lot of these kids is over, but a lot of them still want to see Puss in Boots, and they're still going to see it. And in terms of animated family films, it is climbing up the rankings. In fact, it is just $5 million away from surpassing the entire domestic run of DC League of Super Pets, and is also $9 million away from surpassing the entire domestic run of The Bad Guys, which I think it'll be able to surpass all those movies by the end of this week, as well as getting ever so close to the $100 million milestone, making it the 3rd animated film from last year to do so. And again, think it'll get to that point by the end of this week. And in terms of doubling its budget, it has thankfully doubled it worldwide this weekend. its budget being, of course, 90 million, and it already making like what, 17 million over that doubling point, which is very solid. And it's also just $2 million away from surpassing the $200 million milestone worldwide, becoming the 5th animated film of the year to do that, behind DC League of Super Pets, Lightyear, The Bad Guys, and Minions: The Rise of Gru, which, given the time this video comes out, I wouldn't be surprised to see it already surpass it. So good job. Yeah, folks, it's another solid weekend for Puss in Boots, showing how strong word of mouth has become for this movie, especially this weekend. I saw almost non-stop Puss in Boots posts, whether I would go on social media or watch internet videos. This movie has really caught the attention of a lot of people, and it's just its popularity is just growing with each and every week. And again, given how it's the only major wide animated film until Mario, this is only a sign of things to come. It is definitely going to have a long and leggy run at the box office, and I could not be more happier with that. So yeah, all in all, another solid weekend for Puss in Boots, and it looks to be an even more solider theatrical run at the box office for the film. Good job. Number 2 was M3GAN, opening with $30 million this weekend domestically and $45 million worldwide. Now, obviously, seeing how this is the first new wide release of the year, it has already set numerous amounts of milestones. Biggest movie of the year, both domestically and worldwide. Biggest opening weekend of the year. Biggest opening weekend for a horror movie of the year. Hooray, hurrah, congratulations, and so on and so forth. But the fact of the matter is, folks, this is honestly a pretty successful opening weekend. A lot of people were really surprised by how much this movie did, as many had very low expectations for it. And as someone who had, in all honesty, a lot bigger, higher expectations for this, even I was surprised by how well this movie did. I was definitely not expecting it to crack $30 million, but it managed to do so, and I could not be happier about it. And because of this opening weekend, it has now already doubled its $12 million budget. That's right, folks. This movie only costed $12 million, and it has already doubled that. It's on its way to tripling that again. Probably will already have done that by the time this video comes out, so congratulations, and is looking to be one of the first big breakout hits of the year, and all for good reason. The marketing was spectacular, the buzz was strong, and even the reviews were even stronger. Many people were really interested in seeing this movie. It was really the only new film out right now that really interested a lot of people, and it was able to reap the rewards. I'm very happy to see something like this have a very successful opening, and I definitely think it's going to play out very well throughout this month, especially since that there really isn't all that much happening within the next couple weeks during this month. Nothing's major or insanely special that I think is going to really break new ground in the box office. So this movie has plenty of time to leg out and grow. And in terms of a horror film, word of mouth seems to be very strong with this, as I've been hearing nothing about this movie and how much a lot of people really enjoyed this movie for the past couple days. And the film got a B on Cinema Score. Now, for other movies, that may be concerning, but since this is a horror film, you kind of have to judge it on a different curve, because horror definitely has a bit of a more niche and much more peculiar taste for audiences. So this is definitely a way better cinema score than what I think a lot of people were expecting, and I think word of mouth is really going to help this movie out. Overall, yeah, this is a fantastic start for M3GAN's box office run, and I look forward to seeing where it goes from here. So yeah, a great way to start off the theatrical run for M3GAN, and also a great way to start off 2023's box office. Good job, M3GAN. And finally, let's end the video off with the number 1 movie of the weekend, which was, for the 4th week in a row, Avatar: The Way of Water, making $45 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $517 million and a worldwide total of $1.7 billion. Obviously, this weekend, this movie has reached some new milestones. Obviously, first off, it surpassed the $500 million milestone domestically, becoming the second film of 2022 to do so, behind Top Gun Maverick. I still don't think it's gonna get to Top Gun Maverick's total. I think it'll get very close, but I don't think it's going to surpass Top Gun Maverick. I think Top Gun still had the upper hand domestically. Worldwide, however, I'm sorry, Top Gun fans, but there is a new champion of the box office year of 2022, as Avatar: The Way of Water surpassed Top Gun Maverick to become the highest grossing film of the year worldwide. It is also roughly 200 million away from surpassing the entire worldwide run of Spider-Man No Way Home, and 300 million away from surpassing the coveted $2 billion worldwide milestone. And I gotta be honest, I think those are milestones that the film will be able to cross very soon, given how even though it's gigantic over here, it is even bigger overseas. Internationally, this movie has just crushed it and is just continuing to crush it, and will definitely help this movie get over those milestones. But there is also another piece of trivia here, and that is the fact that the film was actually able to double its $350 to $400 million budget, as James Cameron recently revealed that the film's break-even point was $1.4 billion, and it is almost certain that we will be getting more of the Avatar world with 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7. I'm not sure. I think he's kind of reaching it over there. But yes, folks, thanks to how successful this movie was, whether you like it or not, Avatar 3 and more of Avatar is still on the horizon. Just an all-around unbelievably phenomenal performance for Avatar, even though I could say stuff like, oh, it's gonna slow down soon, or it's only got like maybe a month left and then it'll be on its way out. It would not change the fact that how successful this movie has become, the fact that it's already breaking so many of these milestones and about to break even more this weekend is insane. I am just incredibly impressed with how well this movie was doing, and I expected it to do well. Much like M3GAN, I'm still very surprised to see it performing this fantastically. So yeah, overall, Avatar continues to dominate. We'll see how much further it can go. We'll see if it can top Top Gun Maverick domestically, but as for right now, I think it's safe to say that Avatar is a pretty big hit. And those were the top 5 domestic box office results for this weekend, but we're not quite done yet, as we got another week ahead of us and new movies hitting theaters. And this weekend we have 2 new wide releases. I would say 3, but then again, A Man Called Otto already released this weekend and is already in the top 5, so let's discuss the other 2 movies hitting theaters. The first being House Party, because someone asked for a remake of House Party. Now, this is an interesting one because, believe it or not, this was originally supposed to be sent to HBO Max, but thanks to David Zaslav, he thought this, along with a couple other movies hitting theaters this year, like that new Magic Mike movie and the new Evil Dead movie, were good enough to be released into theaters, and this is the first of them. And I gotta be honest, folks, I don't think this movie is really gonna do well. Outside of the name recognition, there is absolutely nothing helping this movie out right now. I mean, I've barely seen any sort of promotion for this movie outside of maybe a couple, and I cannot put any more emphasis on the word couple of ads for it, and I got the trailer maybe once or twice, and that's about it. The buzz isn't very strong. I barely know a single person who knows of this movie's existence, and there's just really not much helping this movie out right now. I think this movie is going to be one of the first big disappointments of the year, unfortunately, but who knows, maybe I can be proven wrong. Maybe there's a slimming chance that the movie exceeds expectations, but as for right now, I don't have high hopes for this. Then the other major wide release is Plane. Yep, that's the title. But anyways, yeah, this was an action thriller about a pilot and another passenger who have to save the whole rest of the crew and passengers after a flight crash lands on an island inhabited by terrorists. And while I do think this movie will do a bit better than House Party, I still don't have high hopes for this, in all honesty. Yeah, I've seen more promotion for this and I've gotten the trailer a few more times than House Party, but that's really about it. Nothing about the marketing has been really groundbreaking or enough to make me say, oh yeah, this movie's being promoted. And the buzz is also not there. I, again, barely know a single person who knows this movie is coming out. But then again, it's Gerard Butler and he still attracts an audience. I remember one of those Has Fallen movies coming out in 2019, and I didn't expect anything out of it, but it actually turned out to be a pretty decent hit. So you never know with Gerard Butler. He still has an audience that'll come see him. So there might be a chance that this could exceed expectations, but even those odds are really low for this movie. But we'll see how well this movie truly does, as well as the rest of the movies that land in the top 5 on the next Box Office Chat. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of Box Office Chat. What did you all think of the results? Were you satisfied? Unsatisfied? Comment down below and let me know. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this channel, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on all the social media links right there. And until next time, everyone, stay sharp.